All right, people, it's been a minute since I've been on here. Good morning. And actually, is it? Still morning, somewhat. Let's go ahead and listen to this. Now we see why we can't talk about certain things that happened in 2020. Some BS. Let's go.
Good evening. This here is a picture of a graveyard, whereas this is a picture of a ballot box. Now, on the surface, these two things have very little to do with one another. However, according to a new report from an election watchdog group, well, it turns out that there are over 60,000 people in the North Carolina voter rolls that are either dead, registered twice, or are enrolled to vote in another state. This is, of course, all coming about as North Carolina is only 3 short weeks away from conducting their first round of voting in the midterm elections. Now, the group that was actually behind this report is called the Public Interest Legal Foundation. They are a nonprofit law firm focused specifically on the topic of election integrity. And in the year 2019, this organization began to audit the North Carolina voter rolls, specifically by tracking a small sample of registered voters that were on the Social Security Death Index, meaning that these voters were dead but still on the voter rolls. And so this watchdog group was investigating how long it would take the state's election board to remove these people's names from the voter rolls after they were listed as being deceased in the Social Security Death Index. And it turns out that sometimes it can take a while. Specifically, here's what the report states, quote, deceased registrants, 7,933 North Carolinians were still registered to vote long after death in 2020, meaning that as of right now, they found close to 8,000 dead registrants on.
I want to know what our governor's doing about this. In Wisconsin, that is. I got this in the mail a couple days ago. Probably can't read it right because it's kind of in reverse. But, yes. And then there's a chick. Where's that paper at? What do I do with the paper? With her name on there. Gudusky or something like that. That's running for Ron Johnson's seat. I read this, right? And one of them said Ron Johnson delayed and voted against pandemic relief for frontline workers in Wisconsin. Alright. This has nothing to do with this voter registration thing. I'm going to go ahead and spit on that the next time. See what we get at. Alright, back to the voter registration thing, or not voter registration, but over 60,000 voters unrolls are dead or registered twice. North Carolina report ballot harvesting lawsuit in Wisconsin. So we got to focus on this and pay attention to these things, man. Because if you got 60,000 voters on rolls in North Carolina, how many of them people actually voted that's dead at one point or another? You know what I mean? How many of these dead people going to vote come the next election? We're going to skip past the past election. We're going towards the next election. All right, YouTube? So don't ban me on this or give me another strike. Well, I got a warning. I had to dispute the strike they tried to give me. But anyways, how many people in Wisconsin that's dead that's still going to vote in the next elections? I would like to know that. You know, because it's kind of ridiculous. I mean, you're dead or they're dead, but they still can vote. Let me know when that makes sense.
The rolls. And then furthermore, they continue by stating that many of these people who are on the rolls, well, they have been on there for years. Quote, the Social Security Death Index revealed that 95% of the registrants passed away before the year 2020. Just like with duplicates, missing personal identifying information can affect a state's ability to clean voter rolls with modern data tools. Then, giving some concrete examples, in the report they gave these two pictures, I'll put them up on screen for you, of two grave sites of people whose names are still on the voter rolls. And then they wrote this, quote, "The pictured gravestones demonstrate how long a deceased registrant can linger in North Carolina. Hoyle Helms, a World War II veteran, died in 1997 when Clinton was president. Following his death, he remained on the voter rolls for nearly 25 years. He is not an outlaw.
Wow.
Mary Coleman died in 2003 and remained active on the state's voter rolls for nearly 2 decades. These examples were not removed by officials until 2021, despite their deaths roughly 20 years ago." And then, outside of just dead registrants appearing on the voter rolls, this watchdog group, they also found just under 43,000 people who had already left the state. Here's specifically what this report says on this front. Quote, "42,984 North Carolina voter registrants left the state and established or renewed their out-of-state voter registration before the 2020 election. In this study, we utilized the U.S. Postal Service National Change of Address, or the NCOA system, and the organization's National Voter Database to track those moving from their North Carolina address to another state and determine if they established a subsequent registration before November of 2020. And then furthermore, these researchers, they uncovered over 13,000 people who managed to become registered to vote twice within the state of North Carolina under different variations of their names. Here's specifically what they wrote.
I wonder, did I vote twice in Wisconsin? Because I would like to see. Because I know I voted once personally. Actually, in the next election, I would like to find out. Because I'm listed as African American, because I'm Black American. But I wonder if an algorithm is there come next election because I'm Black. They think I should vote Democrat. And then they put me in because of me being Black as a Democrat. That'd be real bogus. I'd like to find out next election. Not past. We are talking forward. YouTube. Damn. Wonder if a bunch of people, billionaires, righteous billionaires, could come together and buy YouTube. Wouldn't that screw up the algorithm here? On how they impede on our free speech on YouTube. Don't talk about their democratic process. Them fucking demons. Anyway, let's go ahead and finish the video.
Wrote, quote, 13,525 North Carolinians managed to become registered twice in North Carolina under variations of their names. North Carolina's voter registration system, like nearly every other study by us, can be tricked into registering a person multiple times with extremely similar biographical data inputs at the same addresses. These serve as an administrative challenge to be resolved as we see more automation to vote by mail. Otherwise, John Public and John Q. Public could each vote once while the actual John is voting twice, a specific violation of North Carolina election law. Now, according to this watchdog group, whether these duplicates happen by accident or not is not the main question. The key is that these discrepancies create a greater likelihood of the possibility for fraud, given the fact that North Carolina, much like many other states throughout the entire nation, have been moving more and more towards implementing widespread mail-in voting. Here is specifically what they said, or rather the argument they make as to why this problem needs to be fixed ASAP. Quote, during the 2020 presidential election, 15 million mail ballots went unaccounted for nationwide. Another 1.1 million were returned as USPS undeliverable. North Carolina broke its record that year, showing 2,860 undeliverables and nearly 86,000 unaccounted for ballots requested by the voters. And by the way, just as a super quick aside, if you'd like to dig into the specifics of all those statistics that they just mentioned, I'll throw all those into the description box below this video so you can read them one by one, which is right next to that like button that I hope you take a moment to smash, as well as that subscribe button that I also hope you take a moment to smash. Regardless, though, this report continues, quote, an undeliverable ballot typically means the voter data is out of date and available tools are not being leveraged to spot the problem in advance. Unknown ballots are officially defined as those transmitted without tracking, which never return for counting. In other words, local authorities do not know what happened to the ballots. Put into the context of the 2020 presidential election, for almost every ballot President Donald Trump won over then-candidate Joe Biden, another went to an old address or is missing. Which, frankly, when they put it like that, is a shocking statistic. One that the president of this watchdog group, well, he says that it needs to be fixed now rather than later, given the fact that a consequential midterm election is coming up so soon. Here's specifically what J. Christian Adams, who is the president of this particular election watchdog, here's what he said in the statement. Quote, North Carolina officials need to use the time they still have to prepare voter rolls for the midterm elections. Time is running out. Silly, obvious errors in the voter roll can create opportunities for voter fraud and chaos in a close election. Correcting deceased and duplicate records now will help to preemptively address those risks. Now, since we're on the topic of election integrity, let's move our discussion over to the state of Wisconsin, where a city clerk has just been sued for her alleged role in an illegal absentee ballot harvesting scheme. Specifically, just 4 days ago, a new legal complaint was filed with the Wisconsin Elections Commission, and it claims that a Green Bay city clerk by the name of Celeste Jeffries, she accepted multiple absentee ballots from the hand of a single person on several different occasions. Now, for your reference, in case you're not aware, according to Wisconsin state law, it says that it is a form of illegal absentee ballot harvesting for a municipal clerk to receive multiple ballots from a single individual while in the clerk's office. However, according to this particular lawsuit, several witnesses saw Ms. Jeffries, doing just that. And furthermore, when she was challenged by these witnesses, who told her that what she was doing was illegal, she replied that it wasn't. Here's specifically what the lawyer representing these plaintiffs, here's what he said in this regard. Quote, the action is galling enough in and of itself. But when the voters who observed Clerk Jeffries engaging in this illegal act challenged her, Jeffries replied that it was her discretion to do so. One of the voters addressed Jeffries stating, you don't have the discretion. The law doesn't allow multiple ballots. Jeffries then countered with the words, I have the discretion. I'm taking the ballots. Now, according to this lawsuit, after witnessing this alleged ballot harvesting, one of the concerned voters, he went over to the Green Bay city attorney to inquire about the city clerk's acceptance of these multiple ballots. However, despite what the law on the books actually says, the city attorney, she responded by saying that it was a gray area and that the city clerk did have the discretion to accept multiple ballots. However,
this is Wisconsin. Just tell you how our governor is. We ain't got a DeSantis here. We got a Biden here, man. Bought and paid for governor for Wisconsin. And people thinking about going back out to vote for him again. He gonna get to the young people through legalizing or saying legalizing marijuana, which is going to be legalized regardless. It's ridiculous, man. And when people are going to go out and vote for this dude, he's a Biden, man. We got to get rid of him, bruh. And we can't put in somebody that's similar to him. Governor Evers, or y'all Governor Evers, is not a governor, bruh. He's a puppet too. We got to get rid of this puppet, man. For real. And the chick, Goditsky, who's trying to run for Ron Johnson's seat. You think she gonna go into the Senate and fight like Ron Johnson does? Ask the hard questions? No, she gonna be silent. She gonna be silent. Ron Johnson asked the right questions during the pandemic thing and everything, during the Senate hearings and all. He asked the right questions. But he was cut off to not get the right answers, or the answers to his questions. Go look at some of that stuff, man. They try to make it seem like he was asking the wrong questions. No, he was asking the right questions for the Wisconsinites. It's ridiculous, man. And they think we fools. They think we fools, Godusky and the dude Evers, man. Come on, y'all. Wake up, man. Open your eyes, yo, and see what's happening. Straight up. They trying to seclude us, man, and turn us to something where we ain't, yo. For real. Anybody with common sense can see it. I ain't talking to you hardcore libs. Y'all can stay hardcore libs, and don't forget to go get y'all boosters. It's great for you. Don't forget to get your boosters. Real talk. I just don't understand it, yo. Hey, another thing is, I lost a lot of clientele in this process of me being not a liberal or a Democrat. Lost a few friends in this process. I really don't care. The reason why I don't care is because they want to see me see things from their perspective. I was there. I saw your perspective. Y'all have none. It's like you have no common sense. Real talk. When I was a Democrat, it seemed like that. That's what it was. And that's literally what it was. So, I ain't trying to hear it. I lost friends, which wasn't really friends, no way. So be it. Plus, I really don't believe in friends. But at the same time, good associates. But it's all good. It only get better from here. Oh yeah, guess what? I got a Twitter account now. Never got one because I heard how bad it was over there. But I have one now. And in 6 months, when Elon take over that mother sucker, because he done bought it, but he only get to take over in 6 months because they finna switch, try to mess up the algorithms before he get there. But he gonna figure it all out and put the algorithms right. Okay, crap babies.
The voters in this lawsuit, they are disputing that interpretation of the law. Here's again what the lawyer representing these voters said on this front, quote, "There is nothing gray about Wisconsin's election law. The clerk's actions are patently illegal. What's worse about it is the potential effect on the outcome of some very close elections that were decided via the April 5th ballot." Now, what he was referring to in this statement were the elections in Green Bay City Council District 3 as well as District 6, where the margins of victory were incredibly slim, being 2.2% and 1.8% respectively. And just for your reference, that amounts to a difference of only 23 votes in District 3 and 11 votes in District 6, meaning that in races with such razor-slim margins, the question of whether to follow the law becomes that much more important. Although, frankly, just in my humble opinion, it doesn't matter how slim the margins are. Election laws are election laws and must be followed regardless. However, here's what the lawsuit goes on to say, quote, "In the context of close elections, questionable and in this case illegal actions by election officials can tilt an election in favor of one candidate over the other candidates."
Exactly.
Now, here at the Epic Times, we did reach out to the city clerk for comment, but we have yet to hear back. As soon as we do, I will let you know right away.
Please do.
However, the reason that this ballot harvesting lawsuit is more relevant now than ever before is because, relevant now than ever before is because of the work of an organization that we've discussed multiple times on this program, an organization called True the Vote. They're the ones who uncovered illegal ballot harvesting schemes taking place across at least 6 different states throughout the entire country. And next week, there's a large theatrical premiere of a film based on their work. That film is called 2,000 Mules. Now, you will be able to watch this film in select theaters starting next week across the country. However, the global premiere will be taking place at a red carpet event in Florida, specifically over at Mar-a-Lago. And I will be there on site covering it live. Ideally, I'll actually be able to catch President Trump himself and get his thoughts on the film. If you'd like to watch that live coverage, it'll be exclusively found over on Epic TV, which is our awesome no-censorship video platform. That's frankly the only place where we can stream such election integrity coverage and know that it's not going to get censored. So head on over to Epic TV. The link will be right there in the description box below.
All right, that's it for this video. Just wanted people to see, man. They have dead people still on voter registration, which means they're choosing who the dead people votes for. Think about that. It's kind of ridiculous, right? In Wisconsin, my state, bro. My state. It's ridiculous, man. I was born and raised here, man, but I never was really into politics like this, you know what I mean? Until some noticeable things happen, you know what I mean? It's ridiculous, yo. Like I said, gotta get rid of Evers and can't let Godowski, the chick, win, because she ain't gonna be nothing but a puppet. She's bought and paid for already. So when she get in, or if she was to win, that puppet ain't gonna do nothing for us, man. But sit there and let whatever the Democrats want to done in Wisconsin happen. You know what I mean? Evers the same way. We gotta get rid of these people, man. Like, we gotta vote these people out come the next come midterm for this chick. I don't know when Evers up, but whenever he's up, if it's in midterms, you gotta get rid of him too, man. We can't depend or rely on their lies to mislead the black community and any community at that towards destruction. I'm going to leave it with this here quote from Malcolm X. The white liberal will be the downfall of the black community. And as we see already, it's already started. Black Lives Matter helped with this process. Because they don't really care about black lives. They care about their money, and only when a cop kills somebody or a black person. But we kill each other consistently, daily, and they have no foot, no steps in. They don't step into the hood to convince us or the ones that's doing these crimes not to do them. Real talk. And with that being said, y'all have a good day.